Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final episode of the van build. I cannot believe we have come this far, and honestly, it won't be the final episode of the van build, as I still have to install the heater, which I will do later, but it is currently summer, and I'm not very worried about it, so stay tuned for that, because that will be coming at some point. I'll try to do it in my free time. I really want to get it back out to shooting as much as possible, and not spending every weekend building this van out. But if you're new here, hello, my name is Elias. I'm an amateur landscape photographer. I'm based in the Pacific Northwest. I am just an average, ordinary Joe, currently building out his van, and never done any of this kind of stuff before, and I've just been kind of documenting the whole thing as I go along this journey. Any other previous episodes will be linked in the description below. So if you're like me and you're just trying to figure it out like I am, hit the subscribe button. I do put a video out every single week. And yeah, this is going to be the final touches of the van. Final touches being trim, hiding metal. That's pretty much it. Trim and hiding metal. Hiding all the little details, hiding all the little things you want to hide. This section up here that I'm very nervous on, you can already see that I started to install carpet along this metal showing. I did that first because once I build the shelf here to hide all this metal, it'd be really hard to put carpeting behind it. So I went ahead and did this first. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing. So metal, this is a really hard spot to hide. Extremely hard spot to hide. This run just kind of slowly curves out and then just creates this eyesore of a metal piece. So I went ahead and just had the shiplap end right here, kind of farthest I can go with it, and then this I just didn't know what to do with, so I covered it with carpet, and it looks all right. It's not too bad. I mean, later if I want to do something to it, I will, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like that. So I just bought this carpet from Home Depot. Got like a 6-foot sheet, 6x6, and it's just gray carpeting, and all we're doing is using this badass spray adhesive. A lot of people use the 3M. I went ahead and bought the Gorilla Glue because I use everything Gorilla Glue. I think Gorilla Glue is an amazing product, so I'm just kind of keeping on with that. Now we gotta build this shelf here to hide this. I could do this all on carpet, but I have all these wires that I'm pretty sure go to the back of the van, and I just don't want to deal with them. I don't want to see them. So what I'm going to do is put some blocking here, because we need the shelf to come and go against. I'm not going to go directly against this because I need something for the end of the shelf to screw to, which will be this itself. So what I'm going to do is put a board along here, bring it out here, measure this distance, put a blocking in here, and then I'll put another board from here to this wood, and then we'll get this distance and put some tiny little sheet metal screws into this guy to create another nailer for the sheet to screw to. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and yeah, we'll keep it rolling. I got this wood block, and because we're gonna have to go to the face of this, which sucks, we can get away with 1/2 inch. Yeah, we'll put a 1/2 inch strip right there, and then we'll do this again and move it farther along to here to get that measurement. So we'll do a little 1/2 inch rip, screw it in. Need a much longer piece of wood, 3/4 inch, which is perfect because I got the 1x3s. That'll work perfect also with the little metal screws because this doesn't have much room behind it. What I ended up doing was adding 1/2 inch plywood, 3/4 inch, and then I drilled, because it was too thick for like screws to catch, this little gap on the skin. So on this little piece I'm trying to hit, so I drilled probably 1/4 inch in with giant drill bit heads, and it's just, you can't see it, but it is just a 30-second away. You can't see it, but it's about a 30-second away from piercing the skin. So solid. Next, we'll get a piece, I'm thinking probably honestly like 4 inches coming out, which I know is nothing. But again, we're just doing this to hide this area. So bring it back over there, screw it through the face of the backside into this piece, and we'll put it back up here, and then we'll make these pieces. 1, 2, 3. Fits great. Now, what we need to do is cut out the gusset. We're going to just do a pencil line. I just have it lined up with the face of this right here. Mark it back here. We'll just cut it flush. That's good for this side. We'll make another one for here. Be identical. Only thing that's left to do on this is to put a stopper wedger on it, and I have this piece of wood, cut it to length, Again, this is mostly just something to hide that spot, but I guarantee we'll find something in use for this thing. Get this thing solid, we'll sand it down, we'll paint it. Right here, but you know, it's one of those things where it is what it is. This is what we wanted to happen in the first place, was cover this hideous spot of just emptiness. So simple and easy to hide this area. Happy with it. Probably just put a piece of crown molding here like we're gonna be doing out throughout the rest of the van. Like it. So back here, I already started this piece. I did this yesterday because I just wanted to get a feel for it, how it was gonna go. I will not lie, this is very tedious work. Very, very tedious work. I was going to do a full sheet here, but cutting out these pieces and having this over my head just wasn't the funnest. So I went ahead and cut it here, and pretty much I just took the sheet, had it here, and tried poking, having it at a solid location where I knew it was going to be tucked in back here. That was why I did this, because you had to have the whole thing tucked back here in order to get a correct placement for cutting your holes, and it just wasn't fun. These are the catch magnets for the door, so can't cover those. And honestly, I might just glue this one and then cut out the pieces after the fact, because yeah, there's really not much to do there. So I might actually take that route. Tape them off. I didn't really think about rounding corners, so I kind of just did that, and don't know if that's the greatest detail, but getting this thing nice and perfect and prestige, we don't have to cut two giant holes out of it. One, being the same. Here is the layout for it. I was gonna put this here next to it, just have this open, but it looks like I actually have enough room to put the stove where this drawer goes. Have enough clearance. I might have to cut the back side of the drawer for the hose that's gonna be below this, but got this laid out. Just marked it with some Sharpie, cut some holes, then bigger holes, and then get our jigsaw in there. I'll show you in a second, but this board was this is too thick for the stem, so I had to trim out underneath a square with a multi-tool to get that nut, to be able to have the nut grab the throat. But now it's screwed in place and it's totally movable, and all this does is act as a switch. So it's like an on-off switch, and it's going to be an on-off switch to the pump that's going to be inside the 5-gallon water bucket. That's literally all that is. Now it's time to cut this guy in. So for the trim up here in these corners of van that are just problem areas, having to hide these giant gaps I've left because the curvature, it's just the whole thing. Anyway, so there's giant gaps I had to cover. So what I went ahead and did was bought some crown molding, and it's thick on one end and tapers to nothing on the other. So what I've gone and done is cut. It took me about 3 tries, but I found that a 45-degree angle makes that bevel point perfect against the ceiling, and it tapers down to nothing, and I think that looks pretty good. So that is big enough to hide the biggest gap, which is over there above the door. I'll probably have to put some glue on it just to give it a little more support. The plan is to paint these, put them up, and then just shoot them with brad nails through there. I'm gonna go cut all these at a 45, paint them, paint the trim for everything else, and then it's time to start 45ing them and nail them in. Butted up against the cabinet, running along the width here, inside corner. That's pretty good. I like that. So we just put this whole cabinet inside of the big finishing piece. Very excited, but just to find out that it is way too tall. So it is too tall because of the overhead cabinets. I made the overhead cabinets too tall, I guess. They're too big. So there's not very much room in between the burners and the cabinet and the sink at the cabinet. Really, the burners is what I'm mostly worried about. Either way, we've got to cut a good portion of this off, and honestly, I'm just sitting my seal saw in here because it needs a little bit of lip because these doors are literally flush with the cabinet side when they go on, or close to it. So I'm just putting my skill saw up here, and the distance between here is about 1 inch, so we're taking like 3.5 inches off. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this part off, get this measurement, mark it down square, cut that with the skill saw, and we'll put it back in there. So you solve one problem and you always create a new one. This is why you need to think things through from the very beginning, and this is my first van build ever, so mistakes will be made. Mistakes are made. We went ahead and cut off the bottom deal probably by 3 or 4 inches. It's fine because now it's giving us a lot more clearance for the stove, but in lowering the counter, it has now exposed our finish point for our backsplash, which really sucks. So I think for behind here, I'm just gonna put some of this trim alongside of it, and that's just gonna be what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is. And then to attach to the structure, I think I'm honestly just gonna put screws straight down through this thing into the floor, and maybe a couple into the wall itself. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then we can finally do everything that needs to happen in here. Finally got the plumbing all figured out. So how this works is I have this faucet. It is a Baspo, whatever. I'll link it in the description. All it is an on-off switch. It has 2 wires coming out of it, and they're non-polarity sensitive. So all they are for the positive wire of your pump to go through, because when you flip that switch, when you flip the handle, it's just an on-off switch. That is then connected over here. So this looks complicated, but it's not. We have the positive of the pump going to one of the wires to the faucet. The other wire of the faucet is going to one of the positives of the van. The negative of the pump is also into the negative of the van. So just to say that again, we have the positive from the pump going to one of the wires on the faucet. The other wire on the faucet is going to the positive of the van, and then the negative from the pump is going to the negative of the van, so it completes the circuit. So when you flip the faucet switch, it just activates this pump that will be submerged in water. I'm gonna get some hose clamps and clamp that, and then also clamp the one up top. I have these 5-gallon jugs, and they will be secured somehow, but what they're gonna do is they're gonna have 2 of them. One that sits like this, one that's gonna sit here. That's gonna be full of clean water. The pump is gonna be in, and I will flip the switch on the faucet that will turn the pump on, and it'll be able to pump water through this thing, and then it will then drain to the sink into what you can, I guess, consider the gray water tank. And then when it gets full, you just kind of take it out and then dump it. So that is my water system that I'm doing in the van. No running water, but I'm going to be having water through the sink via this system. And now we're going to hook up the gas stove. I'm going to put some double-sided tape along this whole deal, maybe some weather stripping, and I'm going to seal it down. And this guy just goes through. I have a whole this grill we got accidentally. Again, we got the one with the wire, and we got it months, almost a year ago, like half a year ago, so we can't return it, but it's not a big deal. You should definitely get the one with a battery for the igniter switch and not having a plug-in, but we're just gonna use a lighter. It's not a big deal. If I really want to, I could just plug that into there, which it's whatever. With these, you have these little barrels on the inside. You have to switch out from natural gas to propane. And then on the back side, I went to Home Depot and got a part that went from the gas feed line to this little 3-pound propane tank. And all it is I got this piece right here. It comes as one. It has a connection here. And I just went to Home Depot to get the connection from here to the gas line. But of course, they didn't have the one I needed in stock, which would be this piece. But it is a male coupling, not a female. All they had was the female. So I had to get this piece with the female, a coupler, and then attach it to there. So if you can get the one that is male to female, female being on the half-inch side, then that's the part you're gonna need. But just did some Teflon tape, did all that, connected it, and just connects to that. Super simple. This will sit in here, and I'm probably gonna box it in so it's set back there. Same with those. I'm gonna have to figure out how to just secure them. I'll put like some kind of trim around them so they're just together. But yeah, that's it. So let's go ahead and put everything in there, and that should finish out the cabinet. Well, this is quite the time skip. So the last clip was actually filmed about 8 to 9 months ago. I had finally finished the van build in November of 2023, and right now it is June of 2024. I don't know why I put off filming this. I think it's because I'm literally editing the video of the final video. Well, what will be the second final video. I do install the heater, and that'll come out at some point, but who cares? All I know is that this van build series has not been what I thought it was gonna be. Saw it as an opportunity to add something else to the channel, van build stuff, as someone who doesn't know anything about it, and just document it as I go. Turns out that I really did not like this format of introducing this to the channel, if I'm being completely honest. I've loved doing the van build. I love doing everything about it. I do not like how I present it on YouTube, and I think that's just something I learned along the way. And honestly, it's just turned into me dreading doing these fan build videos in general when I was editing them. So with that said, I've gone on many adventures in the van. I will say it is working great, and actually it is currently for sale. If you are interested at all, please email me and I can give you the details. I am selling it right now because the whole point of the van was to buy it, learn, flip it, and buy another van. So as soon as this van sells, I will be buying another one, and I will be doing a van build series more as a vlog, not as a how-to. And with that, I'm actually really excited about how the entire build came out. I even got these seat cushions custom made just off of Amazon, nothing super special. I will say the whole point of this van was to have a hub to go on my photography adventures with my best friend Goku, and it has literally served as just that. I've taken this thing all the way to Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and also throughout the entire Pacific Northwest, and it has done just that. I'm very thankful and grateful for the opportunity I've had to do everything I've done to this van and to be able to utilize it for its purposes thus far. But like I said, this was just a first stepping stone in my introduction into this life, into this world. So yeah, that is going to complete the van build series, minus the episode that will come out about the heater. If you've been following along this entire time, thank you so much for all the support and commitment. I really enjoy all the messages and comments and questions I get. Thank you so much. Again, I am very excited that this is coming to an end because I just want to do the content that I enjoy creating. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for keeping along with the van build. I will see you guys next time, and if you have any questions about anything, please let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.